Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. You know, I have had the unfortunate experience on multiple times actually of being laid off. It can be absolutely terrifying. You start getting weird thoughts in your head, wondering, are you ever going to have a job again? It makes you reflect on your experience and possibly blame yourself for what has occurred. It's just a really awful time all the way around. There are good and there are bad ways for a company to handle laying off people. And I've experienced both versions. I've experienced when a company says, hey, we're going through tough times, we got to do this. And I've experienced the big wig fat cats who are clearly just trying to save a couple of bucks, and in turn, they upend people's lives. Bioware VP Gary McKay cannot stop mentioning the ex-Bioware devs and trying to pretend that somehow laying off them and denying them severance somehow made the company better. And I find it to be disgusting, abhorrent behavior. And I've called it out before, and I'm gonna call it out again. And frankly, I'm gonna call it out every time he does this bullshit because it's not necessary, and Mary Kirby does not deserve it. The other 49 devs who are laid off, many of whom have been with BioWare for over 20 years, do not deserve to be talked about in this manner, and I do not appreciate it. So, I know a lot of you may not be caught up on all this whole situation. I'm gonna take about 2-3 minutes of a video I already did talking about this guy before and give you that spill all over again so that you'll be completely caught up. And then we'll talk about his recent comments in a new Bloomberg article. First, the recap. Back in October, BioWare laid off 50 employees, and many of them were longtime veterans of the studio. Included in this list were devs like Mary Kirby, who had been with BioWare for 17 years and played a pivotal role in bringing all of the Dragon Age games to life. She is heavily credited with making Varric, Loghain, and Sten the iconic characters that they are today. At the time, Gary said the cuts would be carried out with empathy, respect, and clear communication. It became clear that was not the case when Ms. Kirby, along with 6 other developers, sued BioWare because they attempted to deny her legally owed severance. We all know many of the other developers wanted to sue but didn't have the resources to do so. Fast forward 8 months later, and GI asked Gary how the studio is dealing with the fallout of this crisis, and he says, quote, "We have that relentless pursuit for quality, and we have passion and people in the right roles." A lot of the other stuff you're talking about just fades into the background. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary people of all ages, for those of you who have never worked in corporate America before, let me tell you, this is classic hatchet man verbiage. My employees aren't at all concerned about recent layoffs, or that their jobs might be on the line, or that once they are let go, they'll be denied severance. No, of course not. You know why? They are just too busy delivering quality products and services for our customers. It consumes their every thought. Those screams you hear of people that have worked here for nearly 20 years and have had their whole world destroyed, that's just the white noise me and the other leaders go to sleep with. Only you people in the media pay attention to that rabble. Bruh. I don't know Gary from a can of paint, but he didn't join BioWare until 2020, and it really comes off like he's the face Ian likes using to explain why their CEO, Andrew Wilson, should rake in $25.6 million in compensation while denying employees severance. Every time Gary opens his mouth about the layoffs, it's just super cringe. Now you're all caught up, so let's talk about what he's decided to say yet again. Veilguard just had its launch. BioWare is looking relatively good right now. There's absolutely no reason to throw these people under the bus, but this guy can't keep his mouth closed. I don't understand why. Bloomberg article, Jason Schreier always does fantastic work. It talks a lot about the experience of developing Veilguard, And in the midst of that article, he says, last summer, Bioware laid off 50 people, including veterans with decades of experience. McKay told me the reduction, which arrived during a widespread period of layoffs across the video game industry, was all about focus at that time. Let me mention a couple of things. Were there widespread layoffs during that time? Absolutely, for sure. But what's not mentioned in the article is how many of those layoffs were done by companies who then paid their CEOs massive amounts of money. As you can already see in the clip that I showed from my previous video, it's not like EA's CEO received a punishment for having to hemorrhage all these people. No, they said, job well done, destroy as many lives as possible. We want to give you millions for it. So miss me with that. This had to be done. This is better. This helps the studios focus. This makes sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. This is greed. This is flat out corporate greed. And to me, it's unfortunate. Again, Jason Schreier does great work. I'm not trying to make this personally about him, but it's unfortunate the way these layoffs are reported. They all too often they are reported as ho-hum, business as usual. Like, I feel like not enough people are talking about the issues happening in the gaming industry that are so negatively affecting many of the developers who are making the games that we love. But then moving on, he goes on to say, remember, he started with, this was all about focusing at that time. Then he says, when you have a really large team, you're always compelled to keep everybody busy all the time. When you have a smaller team, you have the right people in the right roles at the right time. Some incredible momentum is gained at that point. Once again, this corporate hack speech about a bunch of people whose severance you denied. Many of these people worked for the company for 20 plus years. You cut them all off, and then you denied them severance that they clearly were due. And then you want to make up these stories about, well, you know, it's all about positive momentum and getting everybody focused and one team and all of that nonsense. Just shut the fuck up about them. If you're not going to pay these people, shut the fuck up about them. There's never been public confirmation in any way, shape, form, or fashion that these folks ever got paid. None. And that's the real reason I don't appreciate these comments. If at least these folks got taken care of, I would feel differently. And I don't conflate this situation with whether or not you support Veilguard. A lot of the developers who have been released have posted on social media and have supported the game's release. They've made it very clear they don't feel like not supporting Veilguard is somehow supporting them or their issues with EA, right? It's not the same. But this is unnecessary. It's not necessary for you to talk about these people in that manner. Like, let's keep it a band. You could easily say, hey, the past is the past. We're looking forward. We've got this great launch that's occurring. Let's just keep the conversation focused in that direction. That's it. And what makes the situation even more galling, to be honest with you, is later on, Jason Schreier says, the game, Veilguard, is so important to Bioware's future that the company brought in its second team, which has been incubating a new Mass Effect to help out during the final stretch of development. So Veilguard missed its release date. It did not release on time at all. And then after firing 50 of the people who were working on the game, you had to pull a bunch of people off of Mass Effect, potentially delaying when we're going to get Mass Effect 5 to theoretically make up for all the people you didn't have available to help work on the game. All so that the EA boss could get his little 25 mil. This is fucked up. This is corporate greed. This is just not acceptable. This, not trans scars, not DEI, not inclusion, not all this other bullshit y'all love to talk about. This is what is really destroying the games industry. This corporate greed that is absolutely destroying developers. And can I say it's even more disrespectful that you denied severance to Varric's creator, but then you still use him as the narrator for the entire damn Veilguard game. Just all the way around, it's just jacked up. This is just jacked up. I don't appreciate it. And frankly, I'm going to make these kind of videos every single time I see him bring up this situation. Until we see direct confirmation that these people have been taken care of and that they are happy with the way they're taken care of, like they've moved on, fine, we're good. Until that happens, I'm gonna feel this way every single time I hear this man open his mouth about the situation, because it's not necessary for you to treat them with this type of disrespect on top of taking away their livelihoods. Like, why? Why? What do you gain out of this? What do you? And one last point, because I don't want y'all to feel like I'm on an island by myself, because I know I'm not one of them Bioware guys. So like, I'm not the, gun-ho about Bioware in general. Kayla Elizabeth loves everything about Bioware. Everything about Bioware. Everything about Dragon Age, everything about Mass Effect. She's always on top of it. She saw this shit, saying the Layoffs were all about focus, and afterwards, you have the right people in the right roles at the right time is something. Mary Kirby's characters, again, Varric included in Veilguard, are a major highlight. And this just makes me mad for her and the other devs that were laid off. This shit is disrespectful. It's deeply, deeply disrespectful to folks who have made some of the most important games for me personally. Dragon Age is one of the few series that I actually truly love. Mary Kirby and a lot of the other people who are laid off played a huge role in that. Not to mention, many of them also played a massive role in Mass Effect, which is literally my all-time favorite series. So no, this is not acceptable to me at all. I don't give a damn how many views this video gets. Every single time you bring this up, bro, I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna shit on you about it. I do not appreciate this at all. At all. Stop mentioning them if you're not going to pay them. That's it, man. See y'all in the next video. Take care.